My son is a baby, and right now I am definitely stronger. But the thought crossed my mind that one day he will likely be stronger than me, whether that is due to my aging or him drinking a lot of milk. So, older fathers, when did that change happen and what did it feel like? Story 1. My son started in the weight room at 14. After about 18 months, he was lifting more than I can, but his functional strength was still less. Dad's strength translates well to arm wrestling, moving furniture, and similar tasks because we understand leverage and have stronger hands. Then I got cancer in January, and the treatment sapped me. He is 16 and has literally carried me up the stairs a few times. It is humbling and surreal, but also strangely beautiful at the same time. Story 2. My son is 15 and strong as an ox. He benches 285 pounds and squats 390 pounds. No way would I go against him. At about age 13, we started working out together. At first, I was benching more than him, but by 14, he had passed me. Now, I am not even close. Story 3. Getting closer right now. My son is 17 and an athlete. I am 54, still in good shape, go to the gym, exercise, and so on. I am still stronger right now, but he is catching up fast. I give it another year at best. Story 4. Never. Dad's strength is a secret superpower that kicks in right when you least expect it. Like when your child suddenly towers over you and you realize, wait, I still have it, just not before they crushed my ego. It is the kind of strength that shows up to open stubborn jars, lift mountains of laundry, and keep a straight face when they try to outsmart you. Story 5. This does not really answer your question, but the other day I jokingly gave my 6-year-old a bag of potting soil to carry, assuming it was too much weight for him. He struggled a bit but managed to carry it to the yard. It was a more emotional moment for me than I expected. A lot of pride mixed with existential dread. Story 6. Given that you are currently stronger than your baby, now is the time to extend that lead. You must never succumb to your offspring. Story 7. I don't know about stronger, but he was certainly more explosive, like dunking in basketball when he was 16 or 17. He is 20 and stronger now. At 17, we started wrestling around, and I took him down. You could tell he was shocked. Then in the weight room, I benched what he could, and you could see on his face that he was surprised. I gave him the workaholics line about dad's strength. Story 8. Not stronger but more skillful. When he schooled me in jiu-jitsu, we would attend the local club, but his learning curve was so different from mine. He learns quicker. I remained a humble 4-stripe white belt, and he is now purple and absolutely lethal. But I like it, and it makes me happy that he can defeat me fairly easily. Story 9. My 5-year-old and I do rough and tumble play. He obviously cannot overpower me, but he has certainly gotten stronger and more confident in how he plays. Story 10. My son is 9 years old and weighs about 50 pounds, give or take. He is skinny and lean. I have a 65-pound kettlebell that he easily picked up and moved the other day. He is not stronger than me yet, but it was a significant moment realizing he is growing up and approaching adolescence. Story 11. Last year, I, a 66-year-old male, took my son, then 23, to Alaska. We did the Harding Ice Field hike in Kenai National Park. It is a 9-mile out and back with about 3,600 feet of elevation gain. By the end, my legs felt like jelly. I was as tired and worn out as I had ever been. I asked him if he was tired, and he said a little, but I run and lift weights and had a job where I was on my feet 7 hours a day. He works out but sits in an office all day. The funny thing about this is that until a few months ago, when my father's health took a bad turn at age 92, I was sure he could take me in a fight. Story 12. My son is 2 years old. It regularly takes both of us to hold him down for a diaper change because his core and legs are stronger than most Olympic athletes. Story 13. I have told my son for 20 years that someday he will be stronger than me, but he will never be as kind. Story 14. Honestly, I am in my 30s and fairly physically active, while my father is in his 50s and not very active. If we compared actual data, I would probably be stronger, but psychologically, I still look up to him and always will. Story 15. About 6 months after my son started lifting, I had heart surgery. I have recovered but am still trying to rebuild the strength and endurance I lost. That day of the heart surgery was the day my son became stronger than me. Story 16. Mine is 11 and small while I have large arms from hauling hay growing up. I have seen pictures of his biological father, and I doubt the boy will really challenge me until I am very old and frail. I hope I am wrong though. Story 17. I'm 30. My father is 62. He is a farmer and truck driver. A strong man. He keeps asking me for help moving things, especially truck tires, but he is still much stronger than me. He is just not as strong as he used to be. Story 18. I do not have a child, but looking back, my father used to play sports and games with me. I remember he slowly started making excuses when I became better and stronger than him at each sport. Story 19. Stronger has never been an issue. More mature and grown up? At about 15. He played in a band and they were the favorites in a battle of the bands, except the lead singer and guitarist had basically been throwing up all day. But he was a professional, so he dragged himself out of bed and was there for soundcheck. They came in second place. We were driving home, and his mother and I were doing the "we were robbed," and the judges were biased rants when a quiet voice between us said, "Actually, I don't think we played very well. Yeah, who's the grown-up now?" Story 20. My dad is 6 feet 2 inches and about 250 pounds. I, on the other hand, was the same height but about 210 pounds at the time. He did have me at age 39, so I'll give him that. But at 57, when I was 18, he was violently drunk and truly tried me, as in wanted to fight me. I had to give him my all and actually focus on not getting hurt. We bounced around the living room, breaking a lamp and crushing a coffee table. I eventually put my leg behind his and laid him on the couch and got away from him. A few hours later, after he calmed down, he shockingly hugged me and said he was proud of me and that I had successfully overpowered him. It's a weird memory, but a nice one despite how odd it was. Story 21. Ha! Never, my son is a little nervous. And he's already 6, so I know he'll never surpass me. Just kidding, of course. But I never thought about this from either the son or the father's perspective. The funny thing is, looking back, I think I surpassed my father in my late teens but didn't realize it until my early 20s. I always tell my son I want him to be better than me in every way. Maybe I should rethink it in terms of strength. Don't skip leg day, dads. Story 22. When he was 16 and I was 48, I did not think about it. It was just a natural development. I am not unfit, not in the slightest, compared to most other men my age. Story 23. He is 15 years old and has been involved in competitive judo for almost 10 years. I started again as well 1.5 years ago. I used to be able to push myself through wrestling matches, but he became very strong, fast, and skilled. After he cracked my ribs when I refused to give up over a year ago, there is no way I am getting into that again. There is still some rough play on and off. He approaches it gently and calmly, but within seconds, I have to call it quits. Story 24. On the flip side, my dad passed away when I was 30. I am 48 now. I am pretty athletic and fairly strong. I always have been. At no point in my life, not for a single minute, have I ever thought that I could get the better of my dad. The guy was just a superhero to me, extremely strong like a dad. I now have an 8-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old boy. This question has never really crossed my mind. Story 25. My son started going to the gym a year ago at the age of 14. He has also been a field hockey player since the age of 10. I can definitely say that today he is physically stronger than I ever was or will be. Story 26. My son is 19 years old, appears to have more muscle than me, and can easily outperform me in leg strength. However, fatherly strength is a real thing. I can outdo him in upper body strength, but I also have a fairly physical job, which probably helps. It won't be long before he can lift more than me. Story 27. I think I will probably be dead by the time he is as strong as I am physically. He is 14 years old, and I became a parent late in life. Just like I was at that age, he is a bit tall and thin. If he follows in my footsteps, he will not get muscular until well into his 30s. By that time, I will either be dead, people in my family die young, and I have already lived 20 years longer than my mother, or I will be too old for it to matter. Story 28. My dad, I remember, was always doing more push-ups and chin-ups, and we would wrestle. When I was about 20, I noticed my endurance had improved a lot, and I could suddenly do chin-ups and push-ups for as long as I wanted. My son is now 8 and already much stronger than he was. We wrestle and fight for fun, and I know he is trying hard, but one day it will be no contest. Story 29. My son is enlisting in the army next month and has been training consistently for the past year. I haven't worked out regularly for a while due to becoming busier at work and coaching my younger son's competitive soccer team. He is probably a lot stronger than me now. I am proud of my oldest son, and if anything, it motivates me to get back to the gym seeing how fit, happy, and prepared he is for the next chapter of his life. Story 30. My sons were sporty from a young age. They could run around for hours playing soccer while I was pretty unfit. Recently, I started running, made quick progress, and was excited that my first 5-kilometer race was under 30 minutes. Then my 21-year-old son casually mentioned that he ran one in high school in 19 minutes, even though he never did any running or endurance training. Story 31. Stronger than me? Not yet. He is only 8. Stronger than his 10-year-old sister? Maybe. When he hits puberty, he may be stronger than me because I am pretty weak. Story 32. I don't really care, but a few years ago my 23-year-old had been lifting weights and finally beat his 53-year-old father at arm wrestling. I am just glad all my 4 boys are healthy and strong. Who cares about who is stronger? I want the best for them. Story 33. I have 2 sons in their 20s, and neither is as strong as I am. However, I still work out regularly. They do too, but I have a clear size advantage. Story 34. My dad is in his 70s and a former powerlifter. He still lifts weights and is much stronger than I am. I work out regularly, but I will never be as strong as he is now. Story 35. I am in my 50s and have been going to the gym since my mid-teens. My sons are in their 20s. I am still stronger, but probably not for long. Story 36. I'm 5'6" and not as fit as I should be. I'm just getting back into the gym now. My 2 children are 20 and 24. I suspect that even though my older child spends a lot of time in the gym, I am still functionally stronger. Even though the younger one is 6 feet 5 inches tall, I believe I am probably still quicker and possibly more explosive than him. If I don't get myself together soon, neither of those statements will be true for very long. By the more important measures of a man, they are both developing into young men I am very proud of. I believe they will both surpass me in more meaningful ways than physical strength as they continue on their life journeys. Story 37. My son is 7 months old and I am 29. I suspect he will be stronger than me when he is in his mid-20s. I have lifted weights since I was 17 and do not plan on stopping. Story 38. Mine is 2 right now. If he becomes stronger than me someday, it is because he started weightlifting with me. In that case, I will be very happy because that would be a great accomplishment for him. Story 39. You are not going to have to worry about that until he is out of the house unless he is a gym enthusiast or you had children very late in life. In reality, by the time the son is stronger, the vast majority of them are closer to 30 than 20, especially nowadays when most younger millennials and Generation Z barely engaged in physical activity growing up. Story 40. At 55, I am still stronger than my 36-year-old. He has been going to the gym with me lately, so he will pass me soon if he keeps that up. Story 41. Unfortunately, they aren't stronger than me, possibly because of my wrestling and working out as a teenager. They are faster than me and have more endurance. The speed is easy to get used to because it starts when they are very young. By the time they are 4 to 6 years old, they will outrun you unless you really try. You can run them down, but you have to give maximum effort while they are just playing the way they have been for hours. Endurance develops slowly. For most of their childhood, you will have to deal with them tiring out and needing to ride on your shoulders or hold your hand while you support them. But then, sometime after they no longer need that and you can really hike with them somewhere, suddenly you are the one who can't keep up. Story 42. I am 56 years old and my oldest child is 19, but I am still quite a bit stronger. likely because of my physical childhood and early jobs. I am also more aggressive, as he is honestly just a really nice person. He has not tried wrestling with me in a few months, but he is not there yet. Eventually, I will decline enough and he will finish developing, so it will be a thing. Story 43. When my son ended his 7th grade year, he managed to handle bullying and verbal abuse from his schoolmates much better than I did at his age. Story 44. When my son finished his 7th grade year, he managed to handle bullying and verbal abuse from his schoolmates much better than I did at his age. Story 45. I can only try to speak for my dad, but at 25, I was finally able to completely stop him in an arm wrestle, which is about as close as anyone has ever been to pinning him. In terms of strength, I think that was the real moment he realized I am not a kid anymore. That was on his 58th birthday. Story 46. My son is 2.5 years old and weighs 31 pounds. I was working out with a 54-pound kettlebell and he wanted to try. I laid out 5, 10, and 15-pound kettlebells, and he could pick up and carry all of them. I set a 32-pound kettlebell, and the only reason he couldn't lift it was that he couldn't get a grip on it, but for a second he got it off the ground. When he is a teenager, if I ask him to do something and he angrily says no, for my own safety I will have to say, "Oh yes sir, sorry to bother." Story 47. Have you tried prying something he did not want to let go of from that iron grip? My boy is 4 years old. He is chaos incarnate, smart, devious, and full of energy. He beats me just about every day. One of his favorite moves is the alligator roll. At 6 months old, his sister leaned over his face while he was getting a diaper change. He grabbed a handful of hair on each side of her head and alligator rolled off the couch, taking her to the floor with him. The giggling from him and the screaming from her were unforgettable. He plays dead, tongue out and everything. One day, his sister and her friend were playing tag with him, but he was not fast enough to catch them. On one tier through the house, he ran into the TV stand hard and dropped to the ground with his tongue hanging out. They came back to check on him, and he popped up, smacked them both, screamed, "Tag, you're it," and ran off cackling like a maniac. Story 48. I remember roughhousing with my dad, and one day I put up a really good fight and was able to pin him. That was a wild moment for both of us, and roughhousing kind of stopped. I think I was 14. Story 49. I work out a lot. My oldest son is almost 12, so it is probably not going to happen for at least a while, and I would like to delay it, but we will see. If he is not really interested in working out, it might not happen for a long time. Story 50. About a year ago, my son started going to the gym daily. He has been consistent for about 4 years now. He is taller and stronger than I was in my prime. Story 51. I knew I was stronger than my dad at around 16 and challenged him to arm wrestling to prove it. I told my son, who is 13 now, that when he can beat me in a strength competition, such as lifting, arm wrestling, or actual wrestling, I will see him as a grown man. Call me old-fashioned, but I believe a man should be able to hold his own, so I hope this motivates him to work harder. If he can beat me in a strength competition before age 20, I will be very proud. Story 52. What a strange question. When my son was training to be a black belt, he practiced his techniques with me and could take me down with ease. He was only 10 at the time, but he is fierce when he wants to be. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.